Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every week, he is from Cinemablend.com. He writes about movies, and now I can't remember the line. Ah, dang it. He doesn't have time.
The one I told you?
I'm high on pain cough medication right now.
Everyone's cough medication is some sort of pain medication.
He doesn't have time for squares. That's sort of, or go be a square.
Yeah. Go somewhere else and be a square.
Ladies and gentlemen, is Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com.
and to be fair, to let everyone else in on the gag, the reason I said that was because B-sox and I were talking about A Knight's Tale off air, and he was reminding me of the fact that people are like, oh, you can't use David Bowie and a Bachman Turner Overdrive in a medieval movie, and I love that movie so much. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
It was so funny. It was one of the two best lines I've heard all day. But anyways, welcome to it once again, as we kind of go into the movies and the entertainment and stuff. I'm sorry for everybody. I am a little under the weather right now, so I'm not quite as quick-witted as I usually am.
Which is absolutely okay, because everyone's allowed to have a day off.
I actually took the rare sick day this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Monday, I went home early, and then Tuesday, I was like, no, that's not happening. And I am about to take more Dayquil, so we'll see how this goes.
Dayquil will be fine. It won't make you sleepy. I don't think Dayquil's a loopy type, but...
It is for me every once in a while. If I I haven't ate anything. That's the other thing. I should probably eat something here in a little bit, but...
the Sterling Archer diet. What? Yeah. I had like 5 gummy bears and a fifth of vodka.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week to talk about movies. We've got an interesting one this week, as we will be doing some time travel, as the new Exorcist is out later on this week, right?
Yeah, and for all the movies that could have used Imagine Dragons' Believer, why didn't this one?
Oh, yeah. A really, really screwed up remix of that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Look, Imagine Dragons, if you want this idea, contact us and we'll make a deal. But I'm just saying, you could have a really creepy version of Believer, and it goes in there. They used the song for Murder on the Orient Express when it came out. If you can use that song for that movie, you can use it for The Exorcist, Believer.
You know what? They did that with Stranger Things, the Journey song. Separate Ways.
World.
Yeah, World. There it is.
Ways, yeah. Yeah, I love that song.
Oh, very cool stuff. So Mike's going to see The Exorcist. We'll come back to that one here and do some time traveling at the end. We've got some other reviews that you might possibly see some other movies. What else is out this week?
There is. It was funny because usually before we record, I'll sit down and I'll take a look at the schedule, just to keep us spry, see what's coming up. And this week is apparently a big one because we have, it's still loading up here, but obviously Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
The Exorcist Believer is coming out this week. We also have, let's see, Pet Sematary Bloodlines is going to be on Paramount Plus. Totally Killer, which is a horror slasher comedy / time travel movie, is going to be on Amazon Prime. VHS 85 is going to Shudder, which I need to catch up on my VHS movies, but I remember seeing that first one, I think it was back in 2012, and totally dug it. You've got a movie called Reptile coming to Netflix this weekend. The Burial is apparently going to be in theaters, so that's the Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones one about the funeral home suing each other.
Oh, that looks good.
It does look good. That's in theaters this weekend, but it's going to be on Prime next weekend.
Okay, cool.
So there's a lot of movies between streaming and between theaters. The Kane Mutiny Court Martial is going to be on Paramount on Showtime, if I remember correctly. And that's, another remake of the Kane Mutiny. That's William Friedkin's final film as a director. Kiefer Sutherland's in it. Jason Clarke, a real good cast in there.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now as we talk about the world of movies. So like I said, we will do some time travel at the end. We'll get some actual reviews here. And again, apologies for my voice and whatever. I am a little under the weather this week. I'm doing the best I can to kind of keep up with Mike. You're having to drag my ass through a lot of this, so.
No, it's okay. And the Oaken quality is kind of nice, I must admit.
Anyways, so I apologize for my voice. I'm doing the best I can here. What are we missing this week? What's going on news-wise, Mike?
I mean, there's price increases coming to various streaming services if you want to
No.
dig into that.
That's just sad news. No, I didn't mean it as a bad thing. It's just it's sad news. You know that everybody's doing this. You know, I mean, there's no win for us. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna cycle back around where it's like, hey, cable sounds cheaper, so let's do that. And then it'll cycle back around. And
I will say, I don't have the full story yet. However, one of my colleagues that has seen Exorcist Believer already says that the church scene is something that really messed him up.
oh,
Now, it's my friend Eric. This is a man who he gave the film 4 stars in our official review.
mm-hmm.
He is a horror junkie, so the man is not. He's not a blushing rose when it comes to horror flicks.
Okay.
He says that scene just effed him up, and it makes me want to see this movie even more. For those of you who don't know, The Exorcist Believer is a Legacy-quel trilogy. This is the start of a Legacy-quel trilogy they're planning, and it's from David Gordon Green, who directed and co-wrote the Halloween Legacy-quel trilogy that just ended last year. That alone has me sold, ready to go.
Okay.
But so the minute that when I heard him say that, it's like, oh, because it already looks like it's going to screw me up in the trailer, because you've just got that young girl yelling, the body and the blood, the body and the blood. And it's like, where do you go from that when that's already disturbing?
That should be, and you know what? And this is going to sound silly, but I'm glad it's coming out in October. I love when scary movies come out at the scary time of year.
I know. I mean, we've got Exorcist, we've got Pet Sematary, we've got the Eras Tour. I mean, all the horror movies are coming out.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now as we kind of stumble our way around stuff. Hey, you want a couple movie anniversaries while we're waiting on time travel?
Oh, surely. And on top of that, I was going to ask you about the Ahsoka finale.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen parts of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing yet, but I do. You want to do Ahsoka real quick?
We could save it for time travel.
Okay. I mean, I can give you kind of my take on what happened so far, what I've seen, because it's kind of hard to avoid on TikTok at this point. But I like where it ended. I like that it kind of sets up. Are you eating?
Yes. I didn't know you could hear the Pringles.
Oh, I can totally hear him. It's like that the Peter Griffin.
Ah, yes.
The public radio thing. Yes, I could totally hear you eating chips. Anyways, what I saw, I think they set up a really interesting idea of where Ahsoka has been during the Rey trilogy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds interesting.
It gives them an out at the very least. But from what I've seen, it looks like cool. I'll tell you for sure once we time travel. But a couple quick anniversaries, and then we can get to the time travel here because we are stumbling all over the place this week, and I'm not helping matters.
I do have.
What?
Well, I do have one more thing to sort of. Two more things to throw out there after anniversaries. So
Okay.
2 anniversaries.
You know what movies turned 25 this week?
No.
These all came out in one weekend. Okay, on October 2nd,
Okay.
1998, Ants came out.
Ah.
A Night at the Roxbury.
Oh boy.
What Dreams May Come.
Still have not seen that.
Really?
Yeah, it's one that I have meant to see. I just haven't gotten the chance to actually sit down and watch it.
It's a deep movie. It's a tough watch at the end. I'll tell you that much.
I know I'll bawl my eyes out because of both because of the subject matter, but also because Robin Williams is no longer with us.
Yeah. The Imposters.
Which, have you seen that movie?
No.
That is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen. It is basically, it's Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci doing like a Laurel and Hardy sort of like old school comedy.
Oh boy.
And there are these 2 actors that basically wind up stowing away on a cruise ship because they're avoiding an actor that they hate, and it's played by Alfred Molina. Like, you want to talk about a stacked cast in this? In 1998, they made a movie that had Alfred Molina, Stanley Tucci, Oliver Platt, Campbell Scott, Billy Connolly, Richard Jenkins, Allison Janney, Steve Buscemi, Hope Davis, like just an amazing, amazing murderer's row of talent. And it's like an old school 1930s comedy.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's Tony Shalhoub's in there. It's phenomenal, and it's out of print on disc. If Netflix still had a disc rental service, I'd tell you to rent it, but you could still get it digitally through YouTube. I actually bought it digitally the other night because my wife and I were looking for something to watch, and she's like, and that all of a sudden kind of was like, oh, you haven't seen it? We're watching it then. I'm buying it.
Oh, son of a bitch. You know what else came out this week?
What?
20 years ago?
What?
Out of Time, Denzel Washington.
Another one I still need to say.
Wonderland.
Oh, I never saw that either.
And
That's supposed to get deep, too.
And School of Rock.
Yes, School of Rock. Oh, I love School of Rock.
It's hard to
I have
believe
not
that.
seen that in a long time.
I know, right? I didn't know. Man, I should have used that for the weekly dose of pure nostalgia.
Can always use it next week.
Maybe. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me. I do know one thing I wanted to ask you.
Oh, certainly.
What's going on with the actor strike?
I believe they met again after the WGA strike. And I don't know if anything, I don't think there's any updates at the moment.
Okay.
However, the talks are apparently were supposed to resume today. Talks are supposed to continue today. So that's hopeful that it's not just, they met, didn't come to a deal. It's like, okay, they wrapped a full day of talks yesterday according to deadline. They're supposed to resume today.
Gotcha.
I like that. And not to mention, look, since the WGA strike is done, that really, it feels like, you know how when you're in a family with siblings and your parents try to give you all an equal amount of stuff
Yeah.
at like Christmas? That's exactly how I would think this would go forward. It's like all the other strikes that might be happening because there might be a SAG-AFTRA strike in the game acting world. You would think that all these other bodies would want to match that WGA offer, if not make it better, just because, look, we can get things back on track. We can get movies and stuff back into production. The third Tron movie was already supposed to be shooting by now and didn't happen. So, yeah. And Netflix, apparently, that whole price increase thing I mentioned, that wasn't for that is apparently what they're going to do after the SAG-AFTRA strike. Like, they're apparently planning on a rate increase after that strike is done. And I'm sure that, I'm not sure, but my assumption would be that's because they're looking into ways of getting more money to make up for what they may be paying out to actors now because of these deals.
Well, you know what's going to be, and this is going to sound bad, but they got to make their money somewhere, and they're going to make it off us.
Well, that's exactly what I think. I know that's a business thing, but at the same time, I wrote a lovely little rant that's over on Cinemablend right now at the time of this recording, and it's about how this week, literally Monday night, I forget if it was Monday or Tuesday night, my wife and I are sitting down. We're ready to watch Netflix. We're turning on Netflix because we've been watching Ugly Betty on there. First thing that comes up on the screen, hey, people that aren't in your household won't be able to access your account unless you pay $8 a month. Do you want to do that? And it's like, buy now or continue to Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, the week after you cancel the DVD program.
Yeah.
And I'm already kind of smarting about that. You say this, and then I hear about the rate increase that's coming up, and it's like, wow, that is a lot of gall that you've got there.
They don't do anything to like keep their customers happy, right?
I
know it's hard for you to answer in that situation because you work with these folks, but
I think it's a balance of what customers are trying to make happy.
Well, it's kind
of
like some of the satellite and cable providers where they'll give these great rates for the first 2 years for new customers, but for the people that have been with them for 10 years, they won't give them any kind of deals, you know?
I used to deal with that so much with Cablevision, and I hated it.
So, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. We're going to do some time travel here and be back with some sort of reviews. I don't know what it'll be, but it should be interesting.
Oh.
What?
Do we want to save Loki for then?
Let's do it now. Loki. Or can you talk about it yet?
Yes, I am allowed to talk about it. And I, unfortunately, they sent out screeners for the first 4 episodes.
Okay.
I stayed away from it. I stayed away from the screeners because I was given the opportunity to go see the fan event in New York on the big screen. So they showed the first 2 episodes at that event, but they did not show that. That's all they showed then. So
yeah, you look like you had fun
at that. 2 episodes. Not as much fun as I would have had if they sent me to the LA one, because the LA one had like pies and like juices, and like it was at Disney's El Capitan Theater, so obviously that's their home turf. That's where they can go and do the really splash out. I
Okay.
get that. But the New York one was still so much fun. Like they did trivia, people got posters, we got this really cool baseball caps, and it was very delightful. And the first 2 episodes are really damn good. Like, I am so excited for this to be finally coming back to Disney Plus, because Loki is still the series that I like the most on Disney Plus. Out of all the extended universe stuff for like Marvel or Star Wars, that's my thing.
This actually premieres because Ahsoka wraps up this week. Is this next week or?
It starts this week. It starts Thursday, and then it's going to be one a week for the next, I think, 6 weeks.
Okay, so it's only
I think it's only 6 episodes this season. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's only 6 weeks, but I thought it was 6 to 8. Like normally it's 8, but yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm hearing people say it's 6.
Awesome.
Anyway, I'm really excited, and I'm hearing from my coworkers that have seen the first 4. The end of episode 4 is going to make us scream at the television, apparently.
Oh God.
Yeah. Like, it is that much of a cliffhanger. And I even reached out to my press contact. It's like, do you think you can extend those? Can you extend a crumb out to a full man? And he's like, I don't know if we're going to be renewing access, but I'll let you know. And it's like, I would have been a fool not to try.
Oh,
and
wow.
You know what? For a Disney Plus show to be this good, and I want to get back to it that much, that's saying something. I'm all in on Loki. Like, we had an editorial meeting this week, and I was just smiling and felt like, I know this subject. I love this character. Marvel has me right now.
The Matrix the Disney has me. Well, cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then I guess I will save for time travel. What was I going to say? I still want to talk about Stop Making Sense, because that's classic rock. That's in your wheelhouse. That's currently in theaters. So I guess I can save that for when we do the time travel, even though I've seen it.
All right. Sounds good. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. We're going to do some time travel. Be back with some reviews and stuff. Go be a square somewhere else. Go be a square somewhere else.
Squares need not apply.
And through the wonders of time travel, we have arrived in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is on the line with me right now. As of this part of the recording, we are on Friday morning. I have finally seen the final episode of Ahsoka, and Mike took himself to the Exorcist Believer. Is that what it was last night?
Yep.
Let's start there. Exorcist Believer, what'd we think?
This was bad. This was bad. This was just a waste of damn time.
Really?
I was never look. I've only seen The Exorcist like in the last couple of years for the first time, at least the first time all the way through.
Yeah.
I was not a big fan of the original, so maybe that's part of why I'm not a huge fan of Believer, because David Gordon Green and Danny McBride did such a cool job on the new Halloween trilogy.
Yeah.
I like that new Halloween trilogy. In fact, I loved Halloween Ends. This is dog shit. Like, this is just, even when it gets to, like, the intense possession moments, it's just like, I remember reading early test screening reports where people were apparently laughing through this movie. I can see why they were laughing through this movie.
Which is interesting, because you're usually pretty forgiving to movies. If I'm judging you as a reviewer, you usually give a movie a benefit of the doubt.
I try not to be intensely harsh. Like, even in the movies that waste my time, there might be one or two, aspects that are actually good.
Yeah.
I don't try to go out there and pan everything, because but at the same time, I don't try to go out there and say everything's the best thing since Technicolor. For the most part, everything can land. Most things can land on that beam of to ooh.
Yeah.
But this is
which is so funny to me, because you were kind of fired up to go see this. It seemed like you were, at least.
Again, the trailers kind of look cool, and the fact that it was the team that did the new Halloween trilogy, I was like, okay. So I wasn't a big fan of John Carpenter's Halloween, but I was excited to see what this new take was, and the Halloween trilogy wowed me. So it's like, okay, maybe they're going to have that same magic with Exorcist. That's clearly why they're already announcing a trilogy of these movies.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Just think, you get 2 more of these you have to sit through.
I know. The Exorcist Deceiver, which is apparently the name of the next one. And then everyone's guessing that the Exorcist Redeemer is going to be the last one. And I don't know how you redeem this. But, I mean, it's my job. I will go, you know what, even I will go see them to figure out if it does, turn around in the end, because I'm sometimes a masochist and need to see where things go. But yeah, just and then the way that they tie in the original film with Ellen Burstyn's character, like there's just some decisions there where it's like, what is the purpose of this? What are we doing here? You're just doing this for the Memba moment, right?
Yeah.
And then of course there's going to be there is one piece of that whole thing that everyone's going to be talking about, because it's like there is a lot to discuss.
Okay. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me to talk about movies. So, Exorcist Believer, not one of his favorites. Do you want? Can I give you my take on Ahsoka real quick?
Of course, I was waiting for that.
It is very interesting what they've set up.
Oh.
When we talked earlier this week, I had seen a couple clips and stuff, and what I saw kind of confirmed what I was thinking. But and if anybody hasn't seen it, spoilers, of course, but they've essentially set up 2 different Star Wars universes, and it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Where you have, it kind of gives them an out of where Ahsoka is during the Rey trilogy, because the whole point of the thing is Thrawn in the Rebels, him and Ezra get thrown to a different galaxy, and that's where they've been for 10 years, right?
Right.
And they go to that galaxy in this show.
Huh.
And the end of the show is Thrawn and Ezra getting back to the original galaxy, but Ahsoka and Sabine getting stranded and marooned in the other galaxy.
Oh.
But they do some really cool stuff with, if you go, again, this is one of the things you have to do your research on to know what the hell is going on. But a lot of the mythos they brought in about the Force during Rebel or Clone Wars and Rebels, especially with Anakin and what it means to be the chosen one, kind of gets played out here, and it's kind of interesting. The only thing I don't understand how they'll justify it, especially in the time they have between Rey and Mandalorian and the end of the original sequel or the original Star Wars, is where's Thrawn at, because he does make it back to the galaxy. So they've set up some interesting stuff. It doesn't necessarily negate what's going on with Rey, but it didn't help the story either. It's like, we don't need that whole trilogy.
Oh boy.
So Ahsoka should have been the trilogy, the next trilogy, not Rey. It really should have, because you could have done a great 3 movies with them finding Ezra, and kind of your Star Wars type movie. Thrawn making his way back for The Empire Strikes Back, and then The Resolution, and that would have been a cool 3 movies. But
look, whatever gives me Last Jedi, just go with that.
But it was interesting Jedi. That's the thing about it. It's interesting Jedi. It's Jedi with feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Hey man, I'm just telling you. I get the same way. I would rather have that story than what we got.
I mean, that is interesting, though. But I'm just like, in one sentence, Jedi with feelings. It's like, okay, that completely goes against the original code, and that's what's exciting about it, which is the sort of decision-making you get when you make Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week to talk about movies. All right, we'll let you get to your day off. I appreciate it. And good luck for your wife getting her new tattoo.
Thank you, man. You get better. And anyone that's out there that hasn't already done so, go see Stop Making Sense. It is beautiful on the big screen. Talking heads just doing the thing. Go do that.